We are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety, they are crotchety. We are crotchety old men. Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of We Are Crotchety Old Men, the podcast that is for you and with you, and hopefully you join us in studio like Daniel and Alfred did last week, because we'd like to have more of you. I am, as always, joined by the beautiful Abigail,
Good evening.
and we are going solo if you can go solo with two people.
I think you can.
You think? Okay, I actually did not know if that can be done. And I wanted to first get off a couple of real important issues for us for this podcast. We actually just had our first international listener. We had a listener from, I think it was Melbourne.
Melbourne, Australia.
Thank you. I'm in one of those moods today. And we also had our first feedback, both one positive, one negative about the same exact subject, which was me singing. We had Charles from Maryland who actually said, that is freaking hilarious. And then we had Louie from Springfield, Virginia, which is down the road from us a little bit, who said, yeah, it definitely needs some work. And it was rather embarrassing. So feel free to send us your feedback at wearecrotchetyoldmen@gmail.com. That's wearecrotchetyoldmen@gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you. And also, if you'd like to be a guest on our show, feel free. You can, once again, we are crotchetyoldmen@gmail.com. Crotchety is not easy to spell. So if you want to just cheat, you could just type it in and it does pop up. You can just let us know. Reach out. We'd love to have you on and just talk about what kind of makes you a little crotchety, a little angry, a little grr in your life. Just let it out. We'd love to have you on and we'll talk to you. Wanted to give a quick recap of Nerd Fest. I'd like to thank Alfred and Daniel for coming down last weekend. It was actually cool having the guys down on our yearly trip, and they went back home and they actually left my place a lot cleaner this time. There was no beer cans in the toilet, no potato chips in the bed linen. Sometimes they like to put little pranks on me and do these kind of things where they'll put like pretzels all over the bathroom floor. So when you walk in at 4 o'clock in the morning, you start stepping on them, which is, it's not like stepping on a Lego, but it's rather annoying. But there was one question we had. Abigail, do you ever watch the show back in the 70s, Alice?
Yes, I did.
So Alice was a unique show, and there was one saying that Flo had. Do you remember what that was?
Um, no, what was it?
I think it was something like "Kiss My Grits" or something.
Yeah, kiss my grits.
Kiss my grits. And for some reason, we're sitting there around talking about it. So you have three men in their 50s playing a video game, talking about a TV show back in the 70s, maybe 80s as well. And the lady would get out there, she'd be like, kiss my grits, whenever she got mad at the cook. And we're like, okay, what exactly does that mean? I know back then you couldn't say ass. So we were like, it's grits. Was she trying to say kiss my ass?
Well, she could have been trying to say kiss my tits.
Oh, that would have been fun. But like, or she could have said something like kiss my petunias or something. I don't know. I just, it was just one of those things that I just, it was a question. So if anyone knows the answer, we're assuming it's kiss my ass, but I just want to make sure that we are correct. That was really all that was going on at Nerd Fest.
So for the 4th of July, how'd it go overall?
It was nice. I spent some quality time with the people I care about most, and we this is actually the first year I did not watch any fireworks. I didn't watch it on TV. I didn't try to blow anything up myself, which I have a bad habit. What about yourself?
I actually didn't either. But it was an unfortunate event that on Tuesday night, on the 4th, my neighbors decided to light fireworks up to 1:30 in the morning. And
Ew.
it was a work night.
Now with these fireworks, were they the kind that like just blow up in the sky like Roman candles, or wow? So they
And
weren't like
Roman candles.
Roman candles. They weren't those little fountains or anything like that. They weren't just
Well, some of
sparklers.
them were fountains, but they had some that were very large.
Now were the kids there?
I didn't see them, but I was looking out my blind, so I could have
Okay,
been missing them. Because
but
they probably made the kids stay far away.
okay, and it was in your parking lot.
Yes,
So good thing that you're lighting fireworks next to people's cars.
right. I even made sure that they weren't hitting my car.
Nice, you were monitoring. Do you think they were drinking too much and just having way too much fun?
I'm not sure, but it was very obnoxious.
Now, did you ever do anything crazy or wild or even just something nice? Like, did you ever have any like past things that you would do for the 4th of July, like a tradition or fun?
Yeah, my fondest memories include that my dad had an F-150 and it was blue, but the paint color was really weird because it looked like somebody had sandpapered it. And the whole point, though, is every 4th of July, he would gather all of his kids along with the neighborhood kids, probably a group of 12, and we'd all get in the back of the truck and drive down to Route 50 to park and look at the Washington Monument fireworks. But, obviously, that could not be done today.
So not in the cab, the actual back of the truck.
The actual back of the truck.
So you guys are bouncing up.
Yeah, and in some cases sitting on the edge.
Not
But and I
safe.
also remember, back in the day, there was a beer in his hand.
So your dad it sounds like he was a good old boy drinking some beer, driving with the kids in the back. Everyone's bouncing around, and no one got hurt.
No one got hurt, and it was a lot of fun. So that's my fondest memory of the 4th of July.
Nice. I miss the 4th of July because I living in New Jersey sucked. Okay, especially North Jersey. We weren't allowed anything. Fireworks were completely banned, and I think just recently they brought them back. But every once in a while, you would have like one of my older siblings would actually go either into New York City or they would go to Pennsylvania and buy actual fireworks. But of course, I was a little kid, so I didn't really get to like light many of them off. But do you remember like those little tiny snakes? They were like these little like tiny little cylinders, and you light them, and they smelled horrid, and they would like start sizzling. All of a sudden, they would like form a snake, and I just remember my mom coming out because even after like they were gone, there was always the mark of the snake that was there for years and years.
I do remember that.
So and then there was my like even I actually remember when firecrackers were banned, that you could not light them off, and the police would come because, of course, your neighbors, those annoying neighbors, would call. Yeah, you can't be lighting off fireworks. You're gonna blow your hand off, you dumbass kids. So like the police would come, but there was these things called jumping jacks. It was just a normal firecracker, except they would shoot everywhere. So they would actually go flying, and you would get like you light them, and you're like, oh, these are awesome, and then bam, you get hit in the head. Bam, you get hit in the face. Oh man, I miss those days. Did you ever? Okay, stupid things to do. Did you ever put a sparkler in your mouth and light it?
No. And I don't know why you would do that.
Because I was a jackass. Because it's fun.
Well, how far did the flame get to you?
Well, it's not the flame. It was more just the sparks in
The
your
sparks,
hair,
yeah.
in your eyes, like all the things that you care about. We used to do. Then I do remember in college. I remember I went to Chinatown, and of course, dumb white kid goes to Chinatown. Completely naive, and they have like real fireworks there because for all the Chinese parades and I bought a bunch of bottle rockets, and I brought them back to my college dorm, and I don't know why, but I wanted to shoot them off in the dorm down the hall with no ventilation. I shoot like 6 of them. It's like boom, 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 boom. It was like oops. Like that was the stupid thing to do.
Did you have RAs
Yeah,
in
I
college?
was the RA.
You were the
I was
RA.
RA and I was lighting them off. Yeah,
Wow.
I was. Yeah, basically they were they could have thrown me. They thought making me the RA would stop me from actually doing crazy stuff. You know, Alfred was an RA, believe it or not. He was an RA. He quit because I made him. I got him into too much trouble, so they made me the RA.
Clearly, your college was not picky when they accepted students.
No, it was really bad. What other crazy fireworks? We used to see, like, we would drive and we would watch if we could, because traffic was so bad. We would try to watch them, the New York fireworks from New Jersey. But usually you couldn't get near it because there was just so many cars. So we ended up doing a lot of like the fairs. Like you would go to these small time fairs. I love those so much more. Like even today, it felt more homey, felt more patriotic, more American, just cool stuff. Like now, when you think Fourth of July, is there any like feeling you get, or do you just a holiday?
No, I do get a feeling. I'm very proud of our country. It's going downhill, but I'm still an American and I love to celebrate the 4th of July.
Nice, nice. Did you have? I'm trying to think. I really didn't have many traditions. I mean, we had like basic barbecue or anything, but did you have any actual traditions that you did?
No, except for going down to watch the
Nice,
fireworks.
with your dad drinking a
Yep,
beer and
yep.
kids bouncing around. Hey, you dang kids! Don't make me turn this around.
Could never happen today.
Never happened today. Oh man. So speaking of today, well, not today. So on the day after, what was that? Wednesday, right? When
Yes.
yes, it was a wacky week. So on Wednesday, I'm driving because one of the best parts about July, especially in Northern Virginia, is the lack of kids. The lack of kids on the streets because they are not waiting for school buses. Yay, no school buses, because that was pure hell. But on Wednesday, there was a couple kids and there came a school bus. And first I'm like, why the F is there a school bus coming down the street? And then I realized summer school. Dun, dun, dun. Oh man. Can you imagine? Like, now I'm driving down Route 28. So I'm driving down a highway and the bus is so you're like there's two kids. Normally there's like 30 kids during the year. These two kids are going to summer school. Anybody is passing them and going, oh, those poor kids. They need to get an education. It's so bad. But, to be honest, I had to go to summer school one year.
Really?
Yes. Did you ever have to go to summer school?
No.
Okay. So this is even worse. So I went to summer school because I did not pass history in seventh grade, and it gets worse. My teacher was also my neighbor who lived behind me. I'll never forget. Now, go like in my mind today, she actually was an amazing teacher. She's no longer with us, but I forgot when she passed, but she lived behind us and she tried to help. She was an awesome history teacher. I just sucked. And now I love history. So maybe it actually, when it actually hit, but yeah, so I had to spend my July in school while all my friends were doing who knows what, and my dumbass was in class sweating my butt off. But then I started to realize something, and I had this idea. You could tell me now, people in the audience, you could tell me if this is a stupid ass idea or actually kind of cool concept. So in summer school, I made up an entire semester's worth of work in 1 month. Why don't we have, what is there, 10 months of school a year,
Yeah,
roughly?
approximately.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Why not have all 5 major subjects taught 2 months at a time? So, for example, September, you learn math. You learn math. That's all you do is math in September. 5 months later, you do it again for an entire month of math. You're not taking anything else. In October, you're doing English. In December, you're doing science. You're really picking up your core So you are learning everything, and maybe you throw all the other stuff in, and then I think our kids would be so much smarter. I mean, I certainly would if I did just math all the time and not have to worry about, passing home economics.
I totally agree with that concept.
I don't know. Like, I mean, the teachers union would hate it because then I'm from their point of view, because they would be sitting there going, yeah, no. Like, because the math teacher, that's all they would do. They would work 2 months a year. So I guess you would need more math, but you could break it down. Different groups are learning different things. So, while Bobby is learning math, John is learning science, and Rebecca is learning something else. So that's kind of my idea in high school, because I really think we have a way of actually educating our kids in a new way. Because I also I wanted to know, I don't know, it was kind of my idea. I don't know really if I liked it, and I don't like it, but it also then kind of follows into college. Okay. So, I have one unique thing that happened to me in college. Alfred knows this. And by the way, I got to give a special thank you again to Alfred. Without him, I don't graduate. Pretty simple. Without him, I do not graduate college. Um, but before that, the dean, I remember going back years later after college, and the dean of admissions, he actually looks out, he actually says, Arden, I just want to let you know, you are the only person to be on both dean's lists all time. And I'm like, both dean's lists? You're the first and only person to get academic probation and then become an actual dean's list member years later for academic excellence.
So you can say you turned it around.
I did. I mean, I had a lot of help. I got to admit, because now, once again, back when I went to school, showing my age, the first year, you had the option of handwriting papers or typing them. Some kids actually had electric typewriters. No one had a computer yet. Alfred was like the first guy to have a computer. I had like my mother's 1940 thing. It came in its own carrying case that it weighed like 40 pounds, and you and you had to use whiteout and everything else, and it was awful. So I learned. Dun, dun, dun. I learned, and for the people in Australia, I learned how to actually. I kind of was the host of the parties. I threw all the parties in the school, and there was these 3 young ladies who were really good friends with. Not exactly the most attractive, and they were taller than I was, and they weighed more than I did. They probably could pick me up easily and just like throw me around if they wanted to. But their nicknames were the 3 tons of fun. And they lived up to that name because they were fun. But we made a deal with them. I hosted the events. They went to every single party that I threw. They were the number 1 people. They typed all my papers up until my final college thesis that this guy Dave did one time. He typed my one paper. It was great. I no idea where this guy was, but I begged him to type my final paper, and he was like, he literally got on. He had like one of those old Apples. Remember them with the orange screen?
The Commodores.
I had a Commodore with the printer. Well, I sadly only used it for video games because I was a terrible student.
Well, when you were typing or not typing, are you now a 1-finger typer?
I'm like a 3-finger typist.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not like proficient, but I still every once in a while look at the keys when I type, but I know where they are now, sort of.
Okay.
My problem is I don't use the pinkies that well. I'm not a pinky guy. Pinkies are only for picking your nose. No, I don't do that. But so back to my idea. Sorry, I got very off track there because I have more college stories than most people. I'm the man of 10,000 stories. Now, my brother, he's the man of 10 million stories, but I got my 10,000. But so one thing that drives me insane in college are electives. Why the fraggle monkey do I have to take electives? I know you have to take the well-rounded approach of the college. Hey, education. I don't give a damn. Like if someone is studying engineering, I don't think they need to know, the ancient Sumerian history on dance. You know, I don't think they need to take. Oh, have you seen like some of these electives, like pole dancing? And like I'm like, what? Twerking? These are real. I would take it now, but there's even a zombie survival guide. By Max. Oh, who's the guy who did Blazing Saddles?
Oh,
I was about to say Matt Gibbons, but it's geez, Mel Brooks. So Max Brooks wrote this zombie game. I'm going off track again, I know, but like he wrote a book on surviving zombie apocalypse. That could be an elective. What are we wasting our money for? I'm sorry. I'm frustrated.
well, I can tell you, one of my colleagues, she's in her 50s and she decided to pursue a college degree through Nova. And she essentially was down to one last class that was an elective, but she had to do it. And the class was simply how to get through college.
So her last class was how to get through college.
Correct. And she even went to the dean and tried to make the case that she was a straight A student. She aced every class, and he still told her she had to take it.
Like I would sit there and I don't know what I would do. Like when I would start yelling 4-letter words, but then I would not get it, so probably I wouldn't.
Well, she was pulling her hair out, I can tell you that.
So is she taking it or did she finish it?
She has to take it.
She has to take it.
Mhm.
So now here's a dumb thing. If she failed that class, how bad would that look? Like she literally could write a reverse book. How I failed my final class of getting into college.
I don't think that would ever happen to her, but isn't that ridiculous?
It is.
It isn't even just the stupidity, it's money.
Yeah, it's all about money. Like we're sitting there, we just went through this whole, student debt thing, where they were going to cut student debt, they weren't. They were just going to reward people who actually got higher education and give them more money, and not have to pay it. But it's, like kids would not accrue as much debt if they didn't have to take all these useless courses. My favorite example is myself. Now, I had to take one college class. I had to pass the class to graduate from college. That class, do you know what it was?
No.
Alfred Hitchcock Presents.
Well, that's pretty cool.
I wasn't like trying to like be a movie writer or go to like NYU and become like getting into communications or anything else. No, like it was nothing but the easiest course I can find just to graduate. Now it got worse. I spent my own money on it. I sold all of my comic books, and some of them right now are worth like $10,000. Like I mean, for all those who are nerds, I did have like a couple like what if scenarios, and it was what if Wolverine killed the Incredible Hulk. Nerd. Yeah, that one right now is worth like 10 grand. I sold it for like $400 just to pay for that final class. That is so unbelievable. But now it's electives, get rid of them. You can make college, make it the 13th grade, 14th grade. Here's your diploma. If you want to become a doctor, here you go. You want to become an engineer, here you go. I'm angry now. I'm all fired up. Fired up.
Well, I understand, but it still sounds like a cool class.
Oh, it was. I mean, I'm watching Alfred Hitchcock movies. I'm watching The Birds and Psycho and Vertigo. And, I drove from New Jersey up to my college. I'm not going to give the name of the college, which is now a university, by the way. So they got all my money. Now they're a university now that I'm not there. Still a college back then. And they literally, like, I'm just sitting there like, yeah, I'm watching movies. And I had to pass it. It was pass fail. You either get an A or you get an F if you don't show up. And then the final thing was, we're going to have an oral presentation and you're going to talk about the movies and talk about like the little things of the movie. What was the commonality of each movie? I'm like, seriously? I mean, right now I totally forgot, but because I haven't watched them all. But I was mad. Why I don't know. There has to be a fix. End electives, end them now.
Well, I can tell you a little silly thing that I learned in college.
What's that?
how to euthanize a rat. I was in a genetic.
Hold on. I want you to really. How to euthanize a rat?
Well, this is the
Okay,
point of the story.
I'm ready.
Um, the teacher took us, or the professor, essentially led us to the back lab where there were a lot of rats in cages.
Oh, hold on, guys. Stop. What was the name of this class?
I don't remember.
Was it like a biology class?
Yes, it was related to biology.
I was worried it was an English class.
So she basically pulled the rat out, grabbed him by the tail, and literally swung her hand up and knocked his head on the countertop to kill him. And she said, "This is how you do it." And all of us were just totally appalled.
Oh, wait. She killed a rat in class. Just slamming it against. Like, what if she missed? What if, like, its tail snapped off and the rat went flying?
Yeah.
I mean, like, we wonder how we had COVID released. Maybe someone was flinging a bat, missed, threw it out the window, and it landed in somebody's soup.
That's a good theory.
It was not only a leak from the lab, but it also went into the wet market, into somebody's soup. And then one person was like, fresh bat. Oh, and started coughing on someone else. And boom, we got COVID. So, okay. So how many times did she do this?
Well, she did 3 of them in a row, and then all of us had to do it. And it was very, very difficult.
So you had to actually practice swinging a rat.
Yep.
Did you kill it?
Yes.
One shot.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I won't piss you off then. You're gonna like. Could you do like 2 at a time, like they were nunchucks?
I think doing one was enough.
So you were killing rats. You're flinging them around. So okay, I've never done anything like that in college. So I'm a little nervous now about you. But did you ever do anything really dumb in college? Like, not like tame dumb. I'm not talking about like going streaking, woo, USA, and you got a flag running behind you. Like, I didn't do that.
Actually, I had one of the most shameful moments of my life. I was taking a class called Writing Workshop. I had a big binder, and in a large black Sharpie ink, I had the title of the course. And about a couple months into the class, one of my friends said, "You know, you misspelled writing."
Did you forget the W?
No.
Okay.
Essentially, though, it was a huge embarrassment because I kept that notebook on my desk where everyone could see it, and I totally misspelled that word.
Including the professor who's looking at your writing skills, and you can't write. You are wrong writing.
It was awful.
Just basic. So, what do you, like? If you could change how colleges are done right now, what would you do?
What would I do?
Yeah, like, I mean, I would get rid of electives. I would, try to figure. I mean, these are state run in most cases. Private schools should be able to do whatever they want, but state run I mean, I would like real audits of colleges. Like if we're here, so we're in Virginia. So let's just take Virginia University of Virginia. We got 10 million schools down in this area. Just name any college school that's publicly funded. These are taxpayer paid schools. Now, the college you went to, was that tax-paid school? It was a state school?
Yes, it was. Okay. And so, like you, it was for me, it was a college, and now it's a university.
So you went to a college that was tax-paid, and you learned how to smack rats. By the way, a very useful skill out there in the real world, because I know if there was a rat in this room right now, I would be having, like, I would have you kill it, because you're a professional. You would know. I would scream like a 2-year-old girl, and I would jump on the chair, possibly on the table, and I would be like, "Kill it!" And you would just probably grab it, smack it down, and start wailing on it. And
yeah, I don't think I could do it today.
You don't think you could?
No.
Now you just use a shotgun. It's a lot easier. It's a lot easier. But like, do you think you could come up with any changes? I mean, like, I would want audits. I want to know salaries. Like, did you know? Did you know, like, usually in most of the huge schools, who is the highest paid employee?
The football coach.
Yes. So, like, think about that. The football coach of the university is the highest paid state employee.
Yes.
We have problems. We have financial problems, and this is a good one. So like, I don't care what school you're rooting for, like our college didn't have a football team, so I will make
Neither
fun
did
of them.
mine.
Yeah,
Neither did mine.
yeah. So football, yeah, that's the problem with today's society. Just kidding. But I just want to make sure, that we know that we have this going on. It is making me grr that we have this problem. We know that the all of these costs, and they cost our kids, they're costing our taxpayers, and we're not doing anything about it. We're just like, go team, go, because if your team wins the national title, you get to wear a T-shirt.
Well, you asked me if I could change anything about college. I look at it from a different perspective. Ultimately, parking.
Parking.
Parking is always an issue, and they never seem to have enough space, and they charge you a fortune, and there just simply is nowhere to park. And you build up parking tickets, and it's just that aspect I never understood, and I know it continues today at most universities.
I mean, would you go and get one of those little green, like what are they, mopeds or whatever they are? Just zip around.
I don't think so. But have you seen those electrical bikes?
Yeah, I don't get them.
They go pretty fast.
I was 15 years old. I wanted a moped, never got it. Then again, I never even had a Schwinn. Well, last quick story, because then we do have to go, and I apologize. Yeah, I never rode a bike, and I am gonna bring back Alfred, because Alfred literally is a bike guy, and anyone else could talk about bikes, or any other subject. But I never rode a bike, and I once rode my brother. He actually owns a scooter, and I rode it, and I was so scared because I had no control. But we'll leave that maybe for next week. Anyway, we are crotchety old men. We are crotchety old men. I am crotchety. They are crotchety. We are crotchety old men. Thanks, Abigail.
Have a good night.